proud sponsors of the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. Cartel.ie, for car history data you can trust. Buying a used car? Get an exclusive coupon code now. See the comment section for more details.
Hello and welcome back to the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. This week's review is once again brought to you by our sponsors at Cartel.ie, Ireland's #1 car history check. And the subject of the review is this stealthy looking machine you see behind me, the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class. But it's not the E-Class as you've ever known it before, because like so many of its peers, it's going semi-green and can now be plugged in for up to 55 kilometres of pure electric power through this conveniently placed charging port in the back. But the real kicker with this particular car, the E300de, is that it's also powered by a diesel engine. Now, why is that a big deal, you ask? Well, mixing batteries and diesel in a car is relatively rare, with the vast majority of its plug-in hybrid buddies powered by petrol. Now, the problem there, and perhaps the reason that plug-in hybrids haven't become the ultimate motoring solution that we thought they might have, is that batteries are heavy, as are hybrid systems. So when the battery is flat and you're running purely on petrol power, suddenly things aren't so efficient anymore. So this, being a diesel, should have a massive advantage in being a lot more economical when the battery is flat. So say if you're someone with a short commute who likes to escape out of the city at the weekends, then stay tuned, because I think you're going to find this package very interesting. So we might as well have a look in the boot while we're back here. Now, it's a saloon style opening, which is by design less convenient than a hatchback, but arguably gives a nicer silhouette and also maybe a more premium image in what can be quite an image focused end of the market. Sure, as long as it fits the golf clubs, that's all that matters, right? Although you might want to check that, because unfortunately the battery being placed at the back does majorly impact on boot space. So you've got like this big shelf-like obstruction running right the way across the loading area. And maybe calling it an obstruction is being a bit pessimistic. You could maybe call it a shelf for your charging cables, because there's not really anywhere else to put them in there. On the plus side, these cables are nice and long, which does make it nice and convenient to charge the car in the driveway. In terms of literage, you're looking at about 370, which is actually less than a Volkswagen Golf. But to end the boot segment on a positive note, it does have an electric tailgate, which is a nice little touch. Thanks for working for me there. Okay, so it definitely claws a few points back here in the back with the expected levels of E-Class luxury, lots and lots of space, very generous head and leg room. That's my driving position, and I'm sitting behind myself, and I'm about 5'6" for reference, or 167 centimetres depending on where you're watching from. It's got all the modern conveniences you would expect, like USB charging ports, 12-volt socket, and some more older fashioned luxuries like a pull down centre armrest, complete with cup holders. Very cool ones actually. Oh, please sit in there. Get the idea. You've got magazine holders, door bins, lots of storage. In short, not a place I'd mind taking a long journey in. In fact, I'd quite like to be driven around in one of these. So the front of the cabin is unsurprisingly even more luxurious than the back. And aside from the very obvious quality and general feeling of luxury, it also comes with all the modern conveniences we've come to expect from the class, and indeed from a car with a starting price of €63,000. Thought I'd better throw that in there before I go any further. But to put that in context, BMW's comparable 530e petrol plug-in starts at about €60,000, and your standard E-Class saloon diesel with the AMG line pack like this one starts at about €59,000. So it's not a massive premium either for some very impressive and very unique diesel hybrid power. Anyway, back to this interior, because it really is quite impressive, and this whole new Mercedes interior design language really is a showstopper. Even though for me it was a bit of a grower at first, sitting back into it now after some time off, it still feels really fresh after a couple of years, and it still feels a bit like you're sitting in a car from the future, which is the exact opposite of what the last generation of interiors said. Aside from being really, really ridiculously good looking, it's also really well thought out as well, which I do appreciate. You've got a really nice mix between digital and physical controls for things like aircon. You've got plenty of storage, and I just love this dual screen panoramic MBUX infotainment system. Not only does it look really good, it's actually quite easy to use once you learn it first. It's not a touchscreen, believe it or not. You actually control it via this touchpad on the center console here, or alternatively via these mini touchscreens on the steering wheel. So all very, very slick. Very well equipped also with all the goodies you could ask for, like a reversing camera, sat nav, and on this particular model, a massive range of ambient lighting so that you can fine tune your cabin ambiance to the exact hue of your choice. Vital stuff. Okay, let's go for a drive. So first things first, can it actually do 55 kilometers on purely electric power? No. Well, it didn't for me anyway. On my first charge, I got about 30 to 35 kilometers. And that wasn't doing any crazy driving. It was a mix of, fair enough, a few motorway miles and then lots of these scenic B roads. So maybe if I had kept it more in and around town, you might have got better than that. But I don't really see a situation where you get the full 55 unless maybe you were rolling down a hill. But on the plus side, now that I am in purely diesel mode and have been for a while, I'm seeing a return of about 4.6 litres per 100 kilometres, which are some pretty good diesel figures. You can also force it into electric mode if you like, but most of the time the car works on a kind of a semi-hybrid system where it chooses itself what is most suitable for that particular moment. And that's the way it sits most comfortably, I think. And it's just the most easy and hassle-free way to use it. Now, being a diesel, it is a little bit noisier than a petrol plug-in would be. Diesels just by nature are noisier. And I think obviously if you're spending any bit of time in electric mode at all, you're just a lot more aware of it when those kind of diesel grunts kick in. But look, it is still very refined. It is a Mercedes after all. It's got a lovely balanced feel, nicely weighted steering, and just that lovely big floaty premium saloon suspension that irons out any lumps and bumps in the road as if you're driving on glass, really. And I don't think that battery pack has had much of an impact at all, to be honest. The hybrid system itself can take a bit of getting used to, in that there's a little bit of a confused feel on takeoff, like it's trying to work out which mode it's in, which it probably is. And then being a plug-in, it doesn't quite get that burst of power that you get in a full electric vehicle, which makes sense obviously because at its heart, at its core, it is still a big premium diesel saloon, but one with a few nice perks. So that is the Mercedes-Benz E-Class Saloon plug-in hybrid. Quite a unique offering on the market at the moment, and I have to say quite an impressive one too. And I think this might just be the answer to the conundrum that a lot of people have, where you might be able to get by on electric power for the vast majority of the time and during the week, but still want the total freedom that a diesel engine offers at the weekend perhaps. But like all plug-in hybrids, it only really makes sense if you actually plug it in and take advantage of that great technology. So there is a bit of discipline involved there. Is this a car that you think might solve all your problems? Or are diesel hybrids a bit of a contradiction in a world where we're trying to phase out carbon emissions altogether? As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Your likes, comments and shares are always very much appreciated, as indeed are your subscriptions. So if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please do hit that button and join us back here next week for some more new car reviews, most likely electric. Thanks for watching.